I was invited to a Shadowrun game in college. I'd never played before, but was interested in learning. When I went down there were 4 players, 2 veterans, and another newbie. Both me and the other newbie made computer hackers. The GM gave us a mission: break into a secure location and steal data. I understand this is a standard scenario for Shadow Dark, but what followed was about 5 hours of the 2 veteran players planning every minute detail of the heist, with contingency plans for every conceivable possibility. I had no idea what was going on, and there was no attempt made to explain it to me. I remember making a lot of suggestions for ways that 2 computer hackers could help with the data heist, but every time the veterans shot me down the basis that computer hacking was risky and dangerous. Is it? It's honestly usually pretty boring, at least in my experience. I'm friends with a lot of software engineers. They want to leave nothing to chance. In the end, I think my character got to open a locked door, and I think the newbie disabled a security camera. Eventually, the veterans presented their incredibly detailed plan to the game master, who announced, "Your plan works." And that was it. After the most boring game session of my life, I didn't bother going back, and I never tried Shadowrun again. I got a plan. So first, you are gonna take out all the guards with your expert handgun skills. Then I'm gonna use my stealthing abilities to expertly infiltrate the building and steal away the gold. Alright, what do I get to do? You are going to use your expert hacker abilities to expertly unlock the door. That's it? I mean, is it like a high-tech door, or? No, it's just like one of those, like, it's kind of complicated. It's just a normal door? Dude, I've spent my life studying computers and how to... Dude, look, we don't have time for that, alright? Does everyone understand their roles? Okay, let's do it. Alright, let's do it. Okay, guys, are we gonna, go and do it, or are we just gonna sit here? Yeah, we did it. Did you not see, the flash forwards that were happening? We did it. I mean, we were supposed to have money. I don't see any sort of... Where'd they even come from? Yeah, you didn't even know. That's why you only get to unlock the door. This happened? Because you're stupid. You're stupid. You're too stupid. You don't understand. Useless? You're stupid. I know there are different types of games and different types of playstyles, so I'm not going to say the veterans were wrong to spend hours playing the perfect heist. In fact, they seem to be having a blast. It just sucked for me and the other newbie to not be included, and my attempts to get involved were just ignored. The moral of the story is the importance of making new players feel included and occasionally checking that they understand what's going on, but I'm sure you already know that. Indeed, not everyone plays this game the same way. In fact, the new D&D DMG has a whole player type list, and these guys definitely fall under the planner type. And hey, that's great, but people with a more active playstyle might want to find a different group. Hey, Crispy. I'm worried about my D&D group. I feel like we never got to spend any time together, and every time I get an opportunity, it's too late. If only there were a tabletop event I could enjoy with my players. Thank God for EventCruises and the D20 Cruise. This video is sponsored by EventCruises. And I know what you're thinking. Crispy, you're a tabletop gaming channel. Why are you talking about cruise ship? Well, okay, first and foremost, cruise ships are great, but also, this cruise ship has a lot of stuff for us tabletop gaming fans. In April, they got the D20 Cruise, where professional dungeon masters will be hosting meticulously crafted campaigns for guests, with highlights like World Anvil and Library Bards. This will be the 3rd year they're running this event, and I gotta say, it looks like a lot of fun. In August, they host the GakuCon convention on their cruise ship, where you can enjoy cosplay contests, gaming rooms, live music raves, and it's on its 5th year. So they've had plenty of time to make this a great experience. Oh, and for my hardcore war gamers, yeah, they also have the Battle Barge in October, where they will be hosting a full narrative campaign for Warhammer fans with painting classes with renowned artists too. If you are interested in any of these cruises, hurry down to the description down below, because seriously, these things sell out really quickly. So to avoid FOMO, handle this sooner rather than later if you want an epic luxury D&D adventure. Or if you're not interested in the cruise, that's all good. They also have a Discord where they give away free art commissions of your characters. I mean, seriously, who says no to free stuff just for being in a Discord? So yeah, that's linked in the description down below too. Thank you so much to EventCruises for supporting today's video. As always, supporting our sponsors does support us. And without further ado, I'm going to turn back into an animated rat so we can get back to the video. For the record, this one has receipts, and yeah, we're eating good today. For context, I was 17 when the story happened, which was about a year ago, coming on to 2 years, so forgive me, my memory is a bit clouded. This was my first ever D&D game outside of playing with my family, and last time I played with my family, I was like 13 years old. I began looking around through different D&D Discord servers, and I eventually settled on a post I liked. I shot a message to the DM. Now, I noticed a lot of posts always required like 18 plus or 21 plus, but he didn't say anything, so the first thing I asked was, is it okay if I am 17?
I have a bad feeling about this.
He informed me that it was fine. I'd just be the youngest player. Cool. No big deal. So he asked me to hop on voice chat to do an interview. So we did. I don't remember if there was anything weird here. I just remember chatting for a while and trying to awkwardly cut off the conversation to go to bed because I remember it being pretty late. Finally, we ended the call, and while he was talkative, nothing struck me as weird from what I remember, so I just began creating my character. She was an Eladrin Drake Warden Ranger that was like a bounty hunter, except she only took good aligned bounties. Basically just an adventurer, but she had no issues getting her hands dirty at times. I came up with a backstory that was that she lived a normal life as a kid. However, high elves attacked their village and enslaved her people. She and her parents and younger sister were able to escape, but now, nothing to their names, they needed to find a new life. That's when my character began to take small jobs and worked her way up the ladder. However, the DM decided instead of being a Drake Warden, he changed it to a Phoenix Warden. I thought it would be cool, but I'm not sure why a phoenix, and plus, he had to homebrew it, and he never ended up doing it, so as a brand new player, I had to try my best to. So, for this campaign, you are going to be playing a homebrew subclass. Oh, sweet. Are you going to send me the PDF? Is there a PDF to send? No. Are you going to make the PDF? No. So if there's no PDF to send and you're not gonna make it, get to work. He approved it. Now my character is a Phoenix Warden. Also, the whole bit about high elves coming to enslave her people was also his ideas. High elves hated all other elves. I thought this was fine. I just moved on. Now, time to meet the other players. There was a high elf wizard we'll call Void, a Fearbolg bard we'll call Poet, a human fighter we'll call Ghost because they don't come up much, and lastly, a warlock tiefling we'll call Shyly. Everything seemed fine upon the first meeting. We seemed to get along well and even shared some artwork. I also remember both the DM and me letting the group know of my age, which everyone seemed fine with. Fast forward to the first issue, the DM had another group going in the same world at the same time as ours, just doing other stuff, and he allowed us to listen to their sessions. I couldn't go because I was at work, but apparently Poet did. From secondhand knowledge, Poet was constantly popping up during their session, cracking jokes, laughing loudly, and overall not being respectful of their game. This, of course, upset the other players in that group, and they talked to the DM. The only reason why I found this out is that the DM weirdly told me and only me, but fine, whatever. Maybe they were just having a good time. I shrugged this off. Now comes to our first session. We didn't do a session 0. I know. Shame on us. Strike me down now. Oh, are you volunteering? Sniper Crispy, you got a clean shot? Sorry, don't have a clean shot, but I got something better. Don't worry. She volunteered to be sacrificed for the lack of session 0, so make sure to do it painlessly. Copy that. Oh my god! Target ended. Painlessly. That doesn't sound... That doesn't... Sorry. Anyway! We jumped right in on my character being the focus. I remember I was new, so being the spotlight, which could help me, was nerve-wracking. Nonetheless, I put on my best face and roleplayed. The setting starts in a desert city, where my character took up a job to help a noble find his daughter that ran away or was kidnapped. The quest giver was a tall and strong and mysterious black-furred Leonin named King. I'm pretty sure he was meant to be our DMPC, but we never got far enough to figure that one out. He showed my character the guest and said a group he had hired should be on their way soon. They showed up and we all talk, and of course, Void is a high elf. Now, my character isn't going to flat out hate on her because she knows that not all high elves are evil, hashtag not all high elves, and they were also a new player like me. I thought that maybe our characters could grow and be friends. However, King pulled my character aside and asked me, "Are you sure you want to go on that mission with that high elf? I know how you feel about them." Which is weird. My character had no backstory relations to this person and had not shared any personal matters with them. I forgot to mention I was wearing a necklace that shifted the tone of my skin to a normal shade, so my character was safe in case their character was evil or something, and I just had my character respond with, "Business is business," and we left it at that. Fast forward to traveling to a bandit's camp. We are halfway there, and throughout the night, we took watches. When it was my character's turn to watch, Poet decided to take watch with me, which was cool. We chatted and shared some backstory. My character revealed to hers that she was an Eladrin, taking off her necklace, to which her character says something like, "Your skin is as beautiful as the ocean." Riz. It was something like that. I just said thank you, thinking they were trying to lift my character's mood. We finish up the scene and end the session. I go to bed. In the morning, I woke up to the DM messaging me to tell me how wonderful the roleplay was, and how many other players, the ones from the other campaigns that were listening in, loved how much emotion I put into the roleplay. I was a bit confused, but I was flattered nonetheless. I later came to find out that nobody said that. They didn't say anything bad, they just weren't tripping over themselves to say those things, but I didn't find that out until much later. Second session comes around, the DM has been talking to me throughout the week. Not even just about D&D, just like random stuff. I respond, of course, out of kindness, but I don't really care for anything he tries to talk to me about. Come close to session time, and me and a few players, Poet and Ghost, are just chilling in voice chat, just waiting. Poet begins to talk about how they write poems and stuff, sharing a few of them, and, well, they were corny, but I wasn't going to judge. However, they asked me to read one. I said sure, and they sent me one in DMs. I read it over, and, well, it was super sexual and NSFW. Love, let my lipstick stain, let my fingers roam, let me hear your voice, oh so magical. You wear my t-shirt like a dress, on you that shit's excellent. The fabric's soft just like your skin, tell me why you've never been in love before. Let me show you how this goes, don't hold your breath, I'll go real slow. One step, two step, give them a show, 'cause I just want to embrace you. Kiss my face if you want to, 'cause I want you to. Yeah, I want you to. I've held on for as long as I can, for the ones that I had to defend. I've been strong every day of my life. If she wants, death could take me this time. This world is a wasteland where nothing can grow. I used to have strength, but I ran out of... Wait! Just wanna sit down, keep a fellow Crispy from blowing us both up? Dude. Have you seen this shit? You know, actually, I get it. Can I come with you? Yeah, see, you get it now. Like, of all the poems you could have sent, I told them I was uncomfortable reading something like that out loud. I reminded them I was a minor, to which they said, "Oops, sorry, totally forgot." I just dropped it and the session began. We get back from scouting the camp to a fire happening in the middle of the city. We thought the city was on fire and rushed to see what was happening. King appears and stops us, updating us. Apparently, some other NPC who I forgot was murdered by some guys and they were burning his body. As my character watched the fire saddened by his death, King placed his hand on my character's shoulder and just started comforting her. Comforting no one else, by the way. Out of character, he said that King sees her as a little sister or a daughter. Mind you, her parents aren't dead. I never okayed this. I went along with it, however, not really knowing what else to do. I don't remember what else we did that session, but it ended. After the session, the DM privately messaged me asking me what I looked like. At this point, I didn't care, so I showed him, not thinking anything of it because other people in the server were also open about their looks. You sound, how do I phrase, like you were very well taught in English. Sounds weird, but hear me out. The way you speak, you can go from serious to happy to sad in whatever in tone at the drop of a dime. Times I heard you go deep too. I was like, is she a voice actress? Or is she bamboozling us? Yeah, that's not what I expected you to look like or sound like. This is gonna sound awful. Are you like mixed black? I don't know if it's the filter, I just couldn't tell. So he's vaguely racist too. That's awesome. Good to know. He stated something along the lines of, wow, I wasn't expecting that, and did the infamous, you just sound and act so mature, or something like that. I just shrugged it off and went to bed. At some point, Poet got kicked out, and I later found out they wanted to try and romance my character, who was also 17. Like me and their backstory had topics of abuse and getting sold off and treated badly. I bet you have some NSFW roleplay you've done as well, because you're a degenerate. Nope, never gotten into that. Good, stay away from it. Trust me, I have no plan of getting into it. Safina's canonically 17 years old in human years. I love how she clarified in human years to avoid the 1,000-year-old dragon. However, now it's time to fully dive into the Dungeon Master. He would always try and get me in voice chats alone, asking me what I was doing, if I could call, pulling me aside, and only me aside to interview another player after we kicked one player and another left. And overall, it was just getting creepy. I decided I wanted to start my own campaign and, unfortunately, invited him. Why? I invited a few other people too. For session 1, I wanted to dive a bit into player backstories and mesh into the story, and while others did it in voice chat with everyone else, he refused and wanted to keep it secret. His character also had a little sister I had to roleplay, and a lover, but thankfully I never had to roleplay the lover. He also said many times he thought of me like his little sister, and it just made me so uncomfortable. I probably only knew him for like maybe a handful of months. Not gonna lie. It's gonna sound stupid, but I'm glad you reached out for D&D with us. You're younger than me, but when we were chatting, I don't feel like I'm talking to a kid or anything. You've become one of my good friends. I hope we can call each other, or even be best friends one day. You radiate chaotic sister vibes, and I'm all here for it. At some point, me and a few of the other girls in the group made a group chat, just shared things about our characters, and at some point, we started to share DMs, and found out not only was he trying to groom me, but he was also advancing on the other players as well, even one with a wife. One of the players that was male confronted him about this, and while he was doing that, we added all the girls and told him about everything, and showed what this guy was doing behind the scenes. Of course, we end up kicking him out, blocking him, and moving on. He's still a big joke to us now, and Void is still a longtime friend of mine, and we joke about how his DMPC King was probably like a persona for him. Even though nothing intimate happened, his behavior was gross, and it's not the first time it's happened to me. I just really wanted a D&D game and ignored the signs. Well, my campaign did go on for about a half a year. At some point, it ended due to other issues, but maybe that's a story for another time. Thank you for reading, and I hope it was entertaining at least. I was sprinkling the receipts throughout this video, but I didn't know where to put this one, so I'll just put it here, I guess. I'm gonna confide in you because I trust you. You cannot tell the group, but I trust you. I'm not 28, and I'm not a delivery driver. I'm 23, and I'm under WPP for something that happened to me years ago. I work at an auto department, repairing cars. Oh, what's a WPP? Witness protection! Look, obviously, this really sucks. Nearly half this D&D group hitting on an underage girl is terrible. While you're hopefully not going to encounter anything that bad, I do think this is a version of something that happens a lot. And that is feeling an emotional closeness with the other players in your TTRPG group. Look, we played these games with each other for hours upon hours, and it's natural to feel some closeness to your group, but don't make people uncomfortable with that closeness. Like, I don't know if this is weird, but I don't like it when people I met a couple months ago say I'm their best friend, or their brother they never had, or something like that. It can be off-putting and really forward and almost like a form of love bombing. Obviously, this is a much worse version of that, but the reason it didn't get even worse is because the rest of the group backed her up and got the problem out, which you'll love to see that. I've been watching her content for a few months now, and it motivated me to finally start playing myself. So I joined an online group that had been finishing Curse of Strahd and was looking for new players to join Wild Beyond the Witchlight. During their previous campaign, they had 0 character deaths, and this will be important for later. Our cast is a Tiefling Druid, me, Tiefling Barbarian, a Pigeon Race as the Sorcerer, which wants to play as a pigeon, a Harangon Bard, and our DM. After making our characters, we successfully played through the intro of the module 2 sessions without any incident. We leveled up to level 2 between sessions and got into combat at the start of session 3. The others absolutely obliterated the enemies while I healed and threw a few fire bolts here and there. Our sorcerer hit extremely hard with some chromatic orbs. We followed the leads we had, learning about an NPC that had trouble around the area, so towards the end of the session we go take care of him. Naturally, initiative was rolled, but this fight was much more difficult. There were more enemies than before, plus the NPC, who hit us squishy level 2 casters pretty hard. If I remember correctly, all of us except the Barbarian went to death saving throws at least once. I did twice, but was healed back up by our Bard the first time. The fight went on for a few rounds, and the others chipped away at the NPC's health. Our Bard was dropped to 0 hit points, and the enemy turned to me and the Sorcerer, both extremely low on hit points, as I was pretty lucky with my death saves before, and the Sorcerer was a heavy hitter. I healed them instead of the Bard, betting that the Sorcerer would kill the NPC quickly. I got downed right after and began rolling death saves again. One successful save while the Bard failed once more. While we were down, the Barbarian and Sorcerer took care of the enemy, but they were 2 rounds away from getting back to either of us. While they were on their way, splitting up to stabilize both me and the Bard rolled a nat 1 and died. All of us were at a loss for words, including the DM, as I thought this encounter would just go like the first one. I began feeling so bad and guilty for not healing the Bard instead when I got the chance, and I got a stomachache. Because it was getting late, we wrapped up the session, the Bard's player griefing about the non-epic death that they had planned for their character. Like, sometimes plan going out with a bang, and then you just... Like, it happens. Nothing you can do about it. I quickly texted them that I was sorry, and they gave me some advice, saying they'll get over it eventually. I feel like both me as a player and my character failed. The Bard being super friendly to my Druid before, and also healing me up too. I'm still shaken and don't really know how to proceed. Our next session is weeks away because of Christmas and New Year's. Anyway, I hope this story was worthwhile. Thanks for reading, and keep up the amazing content. Hey, you didn't do anything wrong. Do you have any idea how many times in Baldur's Gate 3 I wiped an encounter because I just made one mistake? It happens. We can't see the future. You did, in that moment, what you thought was best, and it just didn't work out for you. Look, I think this would be a real horror story if the Bard was upset with you, but it looks like they are completely understanding. They're valid for being sad. We get connected to our characters, and that's great. But they also kept perspective and remembered that this is just a game. So be kind to yourself. You made a play that didn't work out. It happens all the time. Best thing you can do is get up and play again. Hey Crispy, long-time fan of your videos to help me get through the workday with a shred of my sanity intact. Sorry if the format is a bit wild, I'm typing this up on my phone. This isn't really the worst story, but the experience is one that I look back at, and the only thing I can bring myself to say is, wow. It was November of 2021. I had been itching to dip into D&D for a while, so I ran over to r/LFG to see if anything sounded fun. Keep in mind, I went in having little to no actual knowledge of D&D, outside a couple of episodes of Critical Role and Dimension 20, so the only thing I was really looking out for was like an LGBT-friendly game. I found one that fit my schedule, I was welcoming to new players, and excitedly, I sent a request to join. The DM got back to me extremely quickly, and sent over an invite to the Discord server. Now looking back, I've joined a other groups. I think it should have been a bit of a red flag that was accepted so quickly with little to no information, no vetting process, not even an introduction. I get it. But that red flag is a tad bigger than little. Well, I mean, with the stuff we see on this series, normally it is more like a medium flag. But still, it's not nothing. But I was excited. I just wanted to pretend to play my funny little wizard. What I assumed was Session 0 rolled on by, and as I struggled to even understand how stats work and how to use a sheet on Roll20, I was completely new to everything and totally lost. I didn't even know how to put my spells on my sheet, nothing like that. We just started Session 1, just like that. I was a bit taken off guard, but I was shy and nervous around new people and thought, hey, I have my stats, I have my chosen spells in physical card form in front of me, and we're all mostly new players, so this will probably be a nice little hands-on learning session. I was wrong. Now, I don't necessarily blame the DM for how everything went. They were new-ish to DMing, and this group didn't exactly work well together. We had people speaking over each other, we had what I suspect were different expectations and playstyles, you know, the stuff you usually go over during an actual Session 0, and I suspect the DM probably didn't know how to turn people down and ended up with more players than expected. What, let me guess, was there like 12 players or something? I swear to God! Things got weird very quickly. One player, who we'll call Minotaur, was playing as a Minotaur Lady Barbarian, and I was stoked to play in a party with a big, strong lady until he started talking. He spent the first 2 sessions talking about the motherland and the Kaiser and having to defend the motherland. Did I mention his character had a German accent? Okay, weird. But I thought maybe I'm just connecting dots that aren't there. Let's not jump to conclusions. Bro, the dots are definitely there. I see you. I know, that's super dumb on my part, but I have a habit of downplaying my concerns. But it only amped up in the second session, along with a general bad table vibe, and even adding a new player and forgetting to introduce her for over an hour into session, until I brought up that we had been playing for a bit and we still hadn't even met her character. We also met a child. Obligatory party of heroes finds an orphan and raises them stuff in the second session instead. Okay. When the child asked my character if he was his mommy, keep in mind, I was playing a man. I'm non-binary. I just have a girly voice. Some uncomfy jokes about drinking milk were made, including some comments about the Minotaur's utter... And the child NPC even asked about it. It was extremely uncomfy because most of us were in our 20s and we had 2 high schoolers playing. I just wanted to change the damn subject. I remember leaving Discord call after 2 sessions and just sitting uncomfortably and thinking, maybe this is what D&D is like. And I romanticized it by watching online games.
Hey, DM?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, there were some things with the campaign I wanted to...
Oh my god, isn't it about that thing? This is the Matt Mercer effect all over again!
Oh. I'm sorry.
As you should be. Okay, it is unreasonable to expect your DMs to prep for sessions, or for your DMs to include your players, or for your DMs to have a party that isn't racist. Matt Mercer ruins everything.
Regardless, I immediately started looking for another game in a desperate attempt to find the high fantasy, found family roleplay adventure of my dreams, and I found one that not only sounded great, but had an actual application process. After I got accepted into the new game, I was in the middle of drafting my exit letter to the DM of the current game, trying to come up with an excuse to leave without sounding rude when I got a Discord notification and oh my god. Something I skipped over in the beginning of the story because I know little about tanks and it didn't catch my eye when I first entered the server was that Minotaur's profile pic was of a tank. But as this Discord message from the DM stated, the tank in his profile pic was specifically from Germany in the 1940s. If you catch my drift, bro, I catch your drift. Okay, don't worry. Not only that, but apparently this guy's username was even just a reference to the tank. And the DM just asked, like, you're not a Nazi, are you? And proceeded to recall the questionable stuff Minotaur's character had said during sessions, to which Minotaur responded like, no, he doesn't see race, etc., etc., etc. Miraculously, I was about to finalize my goodbye letter and send it because genuinely, what the hell was that? The DM messaged the group saying they had some personal life stuff come up and just ended the campaign. Not really a red flag on its own, but looking back, when Minotaur dropped his character art and it was a petite anime woman with big bahongas and cow ears, I should have trusted my gut feeling right then and there and ran for the hills. Bro, expectation, reality. I'm happy to say that once this was over, I breathed a sigh of relief and joined the Discord server for the new game I had applied for. We had a proper Session 0, and our campaign's 3-year anniversary is in January. I got to play my wizard, the party has incredible chemistry, and I even joined another campaign, and now we all cross over and play games and hang out together. That sounds awesome, and I'm glad you found a proper group after that. I honestly don't know what's worse, the fascination with 1940s Germany or the cow thing. Like, I know it's obviously the 1940s Germany thing, but ugh, that cow milking session was just, I didn't need to know about that. I really didn't. I'm glad the DM eventually put their foot down, but of course, them putting their foot down was also accompanied by them just straight up nuking the entire campaign. Look, I get it. Sometimes you just don't want to run the game anymore, but having it be that sudden and over a player that you enabled for a long period of time, it's not great. Though, of course, the main problem is the damn Minotaur. Like, let's not pretend it's anything else. There's only one thing to do when there's a Nazi at your table. Hey, that's a wrap. If you guys enjoyed, then you might enjoy this previous episode of RPG Horror Stories, where we talked about a bunch of guys who were trying to mod all the black people out of Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, not great. It's linked in the cards. But before you go, please do leave a like on this one and subscribe to Crispy's Tavern so you don't miss any of our content as it comes out. And finally, if you want to leave your own stories or thoughts, you can go down in the comments down below. If you can't think of a comment, leave the comment bad poetry to let me know at the end of the video. Hey, by the way, if you have your own horror stories, you can send them directly to us. There is an email down in the description down below. Send your stories our way for a chance to be featured in one of these videos. But hey, even if you don't have any stories, in essence, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you all next time. Farewell.